Hey all. Early in October, I did a week-long marathon to get a bulk of episodes written, recorded, produced, uploaded, and scheduled for release. That was pretty intensive work. It basically got me through the end of the third decade of the four I figured I'd talk about in this season. It at least got me to the 27th of November on the calendar of episodes. That was last week's episode, the Senora Antonia. As I prepare this update episode, it's the 24th of November. Yesterday was Thanksgiving, but because I don't live in the States, it was just another day for me. I went shopping for sweet potatoes and whipped cream for celebrating the feast this upcoming Sunday. I paid a visit to a co-worker from that day job I left a couple of years ago. I spent the afternoon studying for an exam for a possible new job I've applied for. Then I checked on where I was with You're Listening to Radio Revel, and was reminded that I was 2 episodes short of finishing off Season 3. I also realized that those 2 episodes were slice-of-life moments of the first part of the decade of the 90s. One tells the tale of a 3-month visit I made to the States in the summer of '92. The other tells us the tale of a move to a mountain ghost town sometime in 1993. They are curious tales, but they don't do more than remind me that the decade of the 90s was filled with other adventures, like moving to Avila, the home of the mystical Santa Teresa de Dios, or years spent in Tarragona, returning to my theatrical roots, or the other 2 times I moved back to that ghost town before I finally realized that I would never live in that ghost town. I've also been spending a lot of time sketching out what Season 4 will look like, and that one could get pretty complex. I've got general ideas of putting up 3 episodes a week on different themes, perhaps one dealing with modern times as a man over 60, perhaps another being my ramblings about movies or series that I've seen, perhaps another being strictly fiction from my own treasure chest of stories, things I've written but rarely shared. And I've been preparing another project that I hope will include weekly video lessons for English teachers associated with an older internet activity of mine, a blog called Interpretive ESL Teaching. That means next year will need to be heavily scheduled, a lot of script writing and editing and audio and video production if I'm going to get any of this done. And I don't get paid for any of this. Got to find a job, though I did get some good news today concerning my number of years as a contributor to the Social Security system here in Spain in relation to my retirement in 2.5 years' time. So that last decade, the 90s, just isn't going to get done before the date I wanted to end this season, which was right before Christmas time. That's no problem. I'll just tell those stories as I begin Season 4. I'm going to spend the next 6 to 8 weeks trying to map out that season. You'll also hear from me somewhat regularly before Season 4 officially begins. I've seen The Fall of the House of Usher, and Foundation, and Jury Duty, and Oppenheimer, and at least a couple of those have stimulated my critical mind, so I'll drop an episode or 2 on those. Thank you for plowing through Season 3. I've had an uptick in episodes listened to, and if you're one of those extra listeners, I give you an extra thanks and encourage you to take the advice, always optional, of listen, like, subscribe, and share. And hope to speak to you all in Season 4 of You're Listening to Radio Revel. Cheers.